dirt cheap, and it was, what a deal. Great place. And we are going to have the director, Brett Bernardini.
Later in May, yeah.
Very nice guy. He's going to be on later in the month, towards the end of the month, which will be very cool.
But,
so.
yeah, it's an old converted firehouse. It's got a lot of character. It's a beautiful place. A beautiful little box theater.
And we're going to be doing something there. We're going to be doing some kind of a production there, and probably fundraisers. And I know we're probably going to be, Father Russ is going to be doing some stuff there with
he's
us
looking,
as well.
Yep.
Probably some screening some films there and things. So
yep.
It's going to be cool.
Well,
but check that place out.
We've got a call.
Wow.
Our new little thing's flashing.
Yeah. Good evening, nlcTrans. You're on the air.
Oh, hi. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
How are you?
Oh, I'm well. I just wanted to let you know that the 11th sounds like a Monday, and the PFLAG group meets at the Noank Baptist Church on the second Monday of every month.
Yep, that sounds right.
I believe it's 6 o'clock.
Okay, and is that where the film is going to be screened?
Well, that's where they normally meet, so I would assume that's where it's going to be. I just,
Yeah, it does say there's going to be a potluck beforehand at the Noank Baptist Church, but I wasn't sure if that was where the film would be or
well,
not.
if that's where the potluck is, then they're probably just going to stay there and run a movie.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd throw in that little...
Well, thank you. Do you belong to PFLAG?
I beg your pardon?
Do you belong to PFLAG?
No, I do not. I just know of them. I used to work at the Alliance for Living, so I...
oh, sure.
Just have a little bit of information here and there, and I'll probably make an effort to go to the People's Forum meeting just so I can meet you guys.
Sure, that would be great.
I'm sorry, girls.
We look forward to that.
Oh, you know what? It's generic jargon. You're not using it derogatory, so in a derogatory way, it's.
Yeah, we use it. We call each other guys all the time.
In the generic sense, not in the gender sense.
Right.
So
we're not offended by that.
Yeah, how do you? She's full of energy, isn't she?
Isn't she something? Wish I had her energy. All right, so I thought I'd clear that up for you. And let me,
thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right.
Have a good night.
That was nice.
That was great.
Thank you so much.
We do have people watching. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Nice bunch, though. Really nice bunch.
Yeah.
And, there are a lot of good people out there, and I'm reminded of that every day. And occasionally I'll run into, and honestly, not that often, I run into some people that are pretty nasty, but by and large, the vast majority of people I think are pretty good and pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. And
even if they don't necessarily agree with us or understand us, most people
give you a chance.
Yeah, exactly. And given a chance, we can win people over.
Yep. The whole idea of live and let live.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. Of course, that's kind of a Yankee thing, too. A big Yankee thing is everybody just leave each other alone and do your own thing and mind your own business.
As someone pointed out to me recently, thank you, Tom, Yankee's a relative word. It depends on what part of the country you're in, who it means.
True.
There was a poet, and I'm going to forget her name, that wrote a little poem that, if I get it right, to the rest of the world, a Yankee's an American. To an American, a Yankee's a Northerner. To a Northerner, a Yankee's is an Easterner. To an Easterner, a Yankee's a New Englander. And to a New Englander, a Yankee's from Maine, or something like that.
Well, I consider people from Connecticut Yankees, but and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I certainly. I've lived in other parts of the country. I lived in Cheyenne for a while, and cowboys and all that, and it's the friendliest people on earth live in Cheyenne. Cowboys are the nicest people. I would not have transitioned in Cheyenne because they would have killed me. I lived in Cheyenne, which was 30 miles from where Matthew Shepard was killed.
Laramie, Wyoming.
And I would not have transitioned there, but they're very nice people. And when I moved back to Connecticut, it was like, wow, these people are nasty. These are a nasty bunch, these New Englanders. They're just, but the truth is that Yankees, the typical, stereotypical old Yankee is kind of like that. They're not necessarily friendly, but they leave you alone, mind their own business. And
and I have a friend that she grew up a Navy brat, and she spent a lot of time in the South over the years. And the way she described New Englanders, because I spent some time in Virginia going to school too, and you'd walk down the hall, and even if you didn't make eye contact with somebody, they'd say hi to you, which in New England's just unheard of.
Yeah.
You know, and she said the difference with New Englanders is on first blush they appear very cold or very distant, but once you get through that, you know, Yankee Puritan, whatever you want to call it, edge, that barrier, that's some of the friendliest people in the country.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're good in general. I think they're very good people, and they just sort of have a different way of doing things. But so that they can kind of appear to be unfriendly. But I think in general, Yankees are good people.
It's just an initial distance.
But you know, I say that I consider myself. I was born in Connecticut. I consider myself a Connecticut Yankee. But you know, it's one of those things.
So we need to remind people about Father Russ's show next week.
Yes, next week, Father Russ is going to be having Rob Simmons on.
Rob Simmons, who's going to be running most likely for a Senate position. So if you want to talk to him and figure out some of his views before the crazy political season kicks off, give Father Russ a call. And we will have next week, I forgot his name now.
Rich Smalley.
Rich Smalley from the Stonewall Speakers.
That is such a cool thing. We could, like I said, I think we could do multiple shows on that whole Stonewall, the Stonewall riots. Stonewall was a little bar in Greenwich Village.
Yep.
And very cool stuff. I did some reading.
We'll be able to get into a lot of detail next week with it.
Yeah. And there was a Judy Garland connection to that, which was very interesting. But we're out of time. We actually have a new little thing here that's flashing one minute at us. It's kind of cool. So now we're sort of...
I do want to throw in, before we totally run out, that if you've heard about the Matthew Shepard hate crime bill and you don't know about the Matthew Shepard story, you can pick up a movie, and there's a play called The Laramie Project that covers the events of the time period to get some background on it. Connecticut actually has our own Matthew Shepard, Richard Riles, that we'll talk about next week with Rich Smalley.
Yeah.
But...
Very cool. Anyway, I think we're about out of time. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Be sure and watch Father Russ's show next week. It's going to be very interesting. Political stuff is always interesting.
Political stuff's always interesting, especially if you can get in early.
And come back and see us next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.